Okay, so the first thing we want to do is just open this JPEG up in Photoshop. And we're going to do that just to like kind of avoid the line situation that we had. It's got a it's got, you know, a crop that's right up next to the, oh gosh, let me find that real quick. It's got a crop that's right next to the edge. And so when that's the case, you always want to put a little bit around it just for yourself while you're working. Now the final should be trimmed, but you know, just by putting that, you know, we can obviously see the problem better. So I just did image canvas size, and I just had relative checked, and I just did 50 and 50, you know, just to give ourselves a little bit of room. So, you know, some things you want to upscale first, and then other things you actually want to do after the fact. And this is one of those that I would choose to, like, you know, probably just at least take a stab at fixing it before I sent it to the upscaler. So I'm just going to grab, I've got a hard brush, and we're just going to paint that out. And I know that you probably don't need to see this part because you've got this. But, you know, we'll just fix this bit, and we'll just kind of paint that out. And then I would probably try to like fix some of the top of these letters just a bit. So we'll just knock that out of the way. I'm holding shift and clicking to draw those straight lines. All right, so let's just get that out of there. And then I'm just gonna try to paint, well, no, you know what? I'm gonna fix that later. So that's a good example of something I'll fix after. So the first thing to do with something like this is look at it. Oh, looks like we got a line at the bottom too. Let's just knock that out. All right, so you wanna look at this. If you're in Photoshop, you hit Control-1, hold Control and hit 1. That's when you get to, like, you know, seeing the actual quality of the image. And this is actually, in my opinion, pretty good quality. I like it. You know, I think we've got a good quality image here. You know, there's a few little blemishes that make sense to probably clean up. I'm just, you know, hitting some of those spots with the brush tool. But yeah, I think this is good. Okay, so now you want to upscale, because you want to upscale before anything else. You want to upscale at this moment. All right? Sorry. I'm thinking and trying to talk at the same time. And so you just go to Pixel Cut. And I've got a video in the playlist for this. If you don't want to buy the software, just go to Pixel Cut. But I use Gigapixel AI, and it is the best that I have found in everything that I've done. So I'm just going to take it up to 6x, and I'm just going to use either the standard or the HQ. You can also try Art and CG. You'll just get different results. And you want to make sure you're looking at it at 100%. Yeah, standard's going to be the best for this one. And so now I've got a really big copy of it, and it's good quality. So it's 9,000 pixels wide. It's way bigger than you could ever need. Let's see where that saved that. Let me find it. Oh, it's right here. Okay, great. Okay, so we're just going to open this back up with Photoshop. So the best way to remove a background is nothing automated. I mean, you're asking for trouble with automation. You know, here's the Magic Wand tool, and I've got it set to 80. And I'm just going to go in and select the areas that I want. You know, some things you just have to decide, hey, you know, it's not going to do a good job. The printer is not going to do a good job, and you have to kind of know that. Like really, really small details, the printer is not likely to do a great job. So, you know, you just kind of, you know, give it just what it needs. So, like, I'm not going to worry about super fine edges. I'm probably just going to select right over them, you know. But I've got the Magic Wand, and I've got a 80 tolerance, and that's doing a pretty job of getting into these edges. And I'm just shift clicking real close when I see it not do what I want it to do. So, you know, I'm holding shift and clicking, and it's selecting this whole area. And that probably got real real wild. I'm sure it's everywhere now. And you just grab your lasso tool, okay, and either come in and cut into stuff that you want to take. I'm holding shift. Or cut out stuff you want to keep, you know, so like places like that, which I think we have a real strong one of those down in the tire, you know, and obviously you're just making decisions about what's going to be good to keep and what's going to be good to take. So I'm going to hold shift and click here. And you know, it does seem like the artist did intend to go outside of the lines on this stuff. So I mean, you know, let's keep these, but let's make them real intentional. And so I'm just holding Alt and just, you know, circling out those areas. And I'm just going to kind of get a little more of this. So if we want, you know, and those are the decisions. I'm a perfectionist. I would probably like get rid of those things, just because I'm like, I like clean lines, but I know that some people don't. And you know, just saying that that's all personal preference, of course. So that's kind of what makes it hard sometimes when you're doing it for somebody else. You're making their decisions for them because they don't have the skill necessarily to do it. So with all of this done, and see, I would like to get these flames out. So let's get that out, and let's get that out, and then I'm going to select this, and that's going to chop into where we need to keep on the wheel. But I'm just going to hold Alt and just draw this in and get rid of that so that I keep that selection there. And I see that it's gotten into my smoke area down here, so I'm just going to get rid of that. So I'm just holding Alt. And if you have trouble drawing like this, then you just want to take and slow your mouse speed down. You know, it's really nice to have a big mouse pad. And, you know, if you have trouble drawing in between the lines, because I've seen people say that, they're like, hey, how do you do that? And it's just, you know, I have my mouse speed set really slow. And that helps a lot. You know, it's not like I'm superhuman. Far from it. So, you know, you can even tune this up and say, all right, let's just get this. And let's get all that. So I'm holding shift to select more, and then Alt when I want to cut out. So then we'll just grab inside here. And grab inside here. And then we'll grab right here. And that might be close to our final selection. Looks like there's a little bit over here I need to tune up. So I'm just doing that same technique. I'm holding Alt and just make a decision. And I'm staying inside the lines, you know, so to make it easy for me. All right, so there's that. And here, I'm just going to kind of keep this little bit of that. I want to make sure that looks intentional. That's always what I'm thinking. You know, and if we want to go outside the line here and just save some of this gray smoke, there's nothing wrong with that. Oops. And if you make a mistake, don't stop. You know, just keep going, because you know you can keep refining. Yep, this looks pretty good. Yeah, I don't think there's anything I need to do there. And of course you can do this for hours. Yep, and you just make decisions, you know, like I'm gonna cut that off. Let's just cut that off. And I lost a little bit of the line, so let's bring it back. All right, yeah. Okay. So again, we could spend hours. You know, we got a business to run. We got to move on. All right. So let's see. Let's get this little chunk right here inside this arm. I don't know how I lost that. I thought I had that. All right. And Then we click the little lock icon to make it not a layer, or make it a layer, excuse me. And then just hit delete. And the first thing you want to do is grade your work against black. So you want to grade against black and white, but black usually reveals the most inconsistencies and problems. And so, this all looks pretty good. But if you wanted to take it further, there's a few different things you can do. So, obviously we can come through here and clean up any little spots that we see. But what you can do is you can control click the layer, and then you can grab your brush tool, and then you can just literally paint out anywhere that it's looking like where you're seeing this line, so to cut it out even better, you can just literally paint along this line and get rid of the glow. You can see up here where it's glowing, it's got these glowing edges, and some of that is a result of the upscaler. Now I probably don't have time to do that on this one, because it's not my work and it's not yours either, like you said. So there's a couple of things you could do to make this quicker and easier. So let's do that. Let's try that real quick. I'm just going to select all around this. Okay, I'm just going to cut off there. And then I'm going to select all of this. I'm just holding shift to add to my selection. And I'm just going to isolate this part, cut that off. There's no reason I can't take this with me. Hang on, no, I'm good. Let's just hit Control X and Control Shift V to paste back in place. And then I'm just going to add a stroke. So let's do a stroke. And we're just going to do it inside. And the color, I'm going to choose pure black. That might be a little too strong. But as I do that, you can probably see it just fade into the background, into that black background. Now we've just put a little thin stroke all the way around at 7 pixels. And you have to watch this. You have to turn it on and off and on and off and just make sure that you're not losing pieces that you wanted. But what I see it doing is, I see it, cleaning up the edge. And I do, acknowledge that this art, sort of has some edges that we wanted to keep raw and actually not have a hard edge there. So, there's things you can do to fix that. When you turn the stroke on, it's like losing that part right there. So the thing to do is to just duplicate the layer. Okay, and then on this layer, I'll just go ahead and rasterize the style of that stroke. Okay, and then on this layer, I'll just clear that style so that I've got it where I want it, and then I can take it away from where I don't want it. So, I can just paint on this one that's got the rasterized style, well, not paint, I'm actually just erasing, so I can just erase the stroke and just have the soft edge wherever I want it. I'm just going to pop that all along in here. Right there. And then I can literally just stay inside the lines. Oh, sorry. Okay, so let's get this all rocked out. Almost done. I feel like we've addressed some of the biggest problems. I'm not sure, though. I'm still kind of worried about these edges, but they're not terrible. Like I said, we could paint these things out. Let's just merge this down. And I'm going to, control click the layer. It's not working for me. Oh, because I want this layer. And I'm just going to paint this out. So let's see. And this is so hard because you can't really see what you're doing, But I'm just painting this out because I just don't want these, these edges. And, you can use that stroke technique that I was just showing you, or you can just literally just paint these edges. And you have to hit Control D to deselect to even see if you did a good job. But you got to keep it selected while you're painting, because obviously you'll just paint outside the lines and nobody's got that smooth of a hand. So anyway, you can go around these letters, and I'm just going to do that real quick, and I won't waste your time with that. I'll just do that here in just a second. But I'm just going to do Control-Shift-N and use that same color and just kind of finish off these letters. Let's do Control-D, so I'm painting behind. And I'm just going to kind of try to make that look a little smoother and not like it's just been chopped off at the top. So, and that's one of the reasons it's important to paint these edges out too, because if you're going to do modifications like that, you've got to, you don't want to have that hard line there, so that's a good example of where you've got to like kind of blend this in if you want to, paint that out. So yeah, anyway, just kind of fix those up, and yeah, this is going to look great. So as far as the final, let's call it done. I mean, we worked hard on this. We made it look as good as we can. Let's merge these down, and let's just do image size, and the resolution does not matter. Don't listen to anybody else about this. I am telling you, I've been doing this for 20 years. Resolution does not matter. What matters is pixel dimensions. And then it matters how good it looks at those pixel dimensions. So, does it look sharp? And do you have clean lines at the pixel dimensions that you have? And you always want to work as big as you possibly can and then do your final. And so what you think to yourself is like, okay, so they might want to print this as a 12 by 17. That's about as big as anything ever needs to be, because we don't want to go too big and just waste bandwidth and waste space. But 17 times 300, so I need 5100 pixels. So let's just set this to 5100, and just for the people in the back, let's set this to 300 and push that back down to 5100, and then nobody can argue with you. But it doesn't matter. All DPI does is when you pull it actually into the print queue, that it tells it what size it is, and we do that as a last step anyway before we send something to print. So the pixel dimensions are what matters. This is 12 inches. It's a little more by 17. So and you can switch over to inches if you want to check that. 12 by 17. I just look at it in pixels a lot, and you do want resample on for this move, and you just okay. Here's where nobody's perfect. I'm screwing up. Let me change it to 6,000 because I've got all this space I want to trim. So let's just go image trim transparent pixels, and let's see what size it is now. So it's actually, if we want 17 is 5100. So all we need is something like this, and that's a good file size for this design. All right, that's it. Thanks a bunch. I appreciate your help, Shani. Take care.